There we go. Welcome, everybody. I'm Rick DiClemente with starself.com, and welcome to Astrology Unplugged, episode 215. And I don't know about you, but I sure hope you watched last week's episode 214 because it was probably, it was my favorite episode of all of them. And that was with my guest, Janine Joyner, who is a seventh generation shaman. And she talked about soul retrieval, and I can't even explain it to you. It was just so excellent. And I'm really pushing you to go watch Rick DiClemente. No, go watch Astrology Unplugged 214, because you'll see that episode, because she's just awesome. I can't say anything else. We're getting ready to go. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're with us, and I'll tell you what got me to today. There's somebody with a cow in the background. I think it's Susan has a cow in the background. Okay, here's what drove me to tonight. I'm a straight shooter, you know that. Most astrologers are not taking a look at Eris, and they're making a mistake. Because what's going on now is because of Eris and Pluto. And they're trying to say it's Saturn square Uranus, and they're trying to say it's the Pluto return, and all these things have a small part. But the Eris is the story. So I don't want to talk again about Eris because I've talked so much. So what I did is I started to realize that, hold on one moment. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is this. We are going through a time unlike any other time. And I was very glad to get it verified last week when I asked a shaman her opinion about what's going on in the world. And she said that more or less the same thing. The anima mundi, which is the soul of the earth and the people on it as a self, is going through huge change now. And it's never happened before, not in modern times. That's why everything you look at looks so interdependent. We've been living since 2008 with all the Pluto story. But now you see Eris has come on the scene since 2015. I'll say to you, those that are making remarks to me through the chat room, I won't have time to speak to them. You can chat with each other if you like. But anyhow, what this means is the anima mundi, which is Latin for the soul of the world. The world itself is changing as a unit, and we've never really been a unit. We just met each other in 1995 when Pluto was in Sagittarius. When Pluto entered Sagittarius, the internet came up and we started talking to each other. And then we have all these individual problems and the country problems and county problems and individual problems. And all of a sudden, we're having to deal with everything as a unit. Everything as a one global unit. That's what's happening now. And I'm not going to get into that again because I've talked so much about it. And everybody that asked me and asked Janine also, what are we going to do about it? What's the best way to do about it? The best way to deal, we think, both of us, is to be yourself. And that's not a glib statement. And what I started to realize is this. When I do a reading, most people don't know that they don't know that they're more than a Capricorn or more than a Sagittarius. So they're too married to being a Cancer or being a Leo. So what I found, without a doubt, this is very easy to see, what I found in astrology is everybody's got about 4 or 5 signs real strong in their chart. They usually have one real strong, 2 or 3 that are just really dominant, and a couple others. But very few people have 3, and very few have 7. Most people have 4 or 5. People don't know that. So when I do a reading, this is my way of doing it. Doesn't mean it's the way. Think for yourself. When I read for you, let's say you're a Virgo. The first thing I do is I detach you from being a Virgo, from all your life's obsession for I read about Virgo. I think I'm a Virgo. I see everything through the Virgo channel. So I get you unattached from that. And I teach you about your Gemini part, and I teach you about your Sag part, and I teach you about your Scorpio part, and I teach you about parts that conflict and parts that don't. And we start to see more sides to your personality. And at the end of the reading, I don't know whether it's right or wrong, and I don't care because it feels very natural. At the end of the reading, I get you back into your sun sign. Because I feel from my heart, I don't know, I feel that you got to get your sun sign. John's got to get his Taurus stuff moving. Susan has to come back and marry herself to her Sagittarian part. Erica's got to get her Taurus stuff. They got all these other parts, but at the end of the reading, if you're not really manifesting your sun sign easily, that means the real self in you can't get out. So what's the difference if you know these other parts? So I was thinking that one of the best ways of handling this global time where we're all shifting, and this means no more countries, no more states, a global village, if you will. We got a lot of change to go through. The best thing you can do is be your sun sign. So, when we wrote this book, Liza and I, when we wrote this exquisite zodiac, it really had a lot to do with sun signs because cryptocurrency, that's right, Ray. My wish and my desire, I think we did pull it off, was to go as deep as possible in this book to the Aries of the Aries, to the Taurus of the Taurus, to the Gemini of the Gemini. It was not glib like, I forget her book. I took it as deep as possible down to the archetypal level of each sign. And that's why we can talk so much at the archetypal level, and it's always accurate, because you're at a level that's always true. So what I came with tonight, Linda Goodman's sun sign. Thank you very much, Erica. That's exactly right. She was another West Virginian, by the way. But Linda Goodman did a really good job of talking surface on the sun signs, and she did a very eloquent job. And she hit the market at the perfect time. I think it was 1966 or something like that. But anyhow, she's the book on all of astrology, always number one. So I took it deeper than she did. Okay, I took it deeper, and I had to get it all past Liza Jane Brown. And that wasn't easy because Liza has been doing astrology longer than me. So anyhow, tonight I'm going to talk about sun signs. And if you're in Aries, I'm going to encourage you. This is not like the week about 3 weeks ago when I was talking about green light, put it on, let's go get moving. That was a general explosive thing in the planets, where the planets are so volatile right now that getting moving is what you should be doing now. Get going, get moving. And if you got this suggestion coming in, this urge coming from you to get up and try this, then do it. Don't think about it, just do it. That's not what I'm talking about tonight. Tonight I'm going to talk about what to do when you're in Aries, and I'm not talking about your other planets, and you may have competitive planets in your chart, etc. But what do you do? What should an Aries be doing? So we're going to go through each sign. And unfortunately, you Pisces are always last. And Ray wants me to do it backward, and I did it backward. 1 week I did it backward to keep Ray happy. I went Pisces first. She's sticking her tongue out at me. Okay. All right. Aries people, you're a fire sign. You're a leader. You're a cardinal sign. What should you be doing now? You should be testing yourself. You should be on fire. You should be leading whether people follow you or not. Aries is about testing itself. You realize that there's this impossible state of oneness that we come from that you can't even describe. And all of a sudden, for whatever reason, we become an individual separated from the wholeness. And that's why Aries tests itself, because it can't believe it's here. I'm here. Look at me. I'm separate from the wholeness. So that's why you might think that Aries are selfish, and some Aries are selfish, but they're enamored with themselves because they're the first sign. Fire, give me fire, let there be light, and here's Aries. Aries have a way of, no matter what you're talking about, to turn it around and see it through their eyes. That's just how they are. They're not trying to be selfish. They just have to experience everything through the selfness. So I can't explain to you how basic selfness is until you get further down the zodiac and you look back at Aries. Okay? So this book explains all this very basically. So Aries people, if you want to do something, go do it. Don't look around for somebody to agree with you. Don't look around for a path. You know, this stuff about following your path. Did you ever think about this? I heard. How can you follow a path? Because if there's a path, that means somebody's already been down it. You can't follow somebody's path. That's their path. You got to make your own path. That's different. So Aries is about challenging themselves and saying to the world, look what I did. Look what I did. Wow. It's honoring the excitement of being a self, even though it's diluted, because you cannot have a self and you really can't be separate. That's the delusion that we live with for 11 signs until we go back in Pisces. We return back to what's really the story that we never did leave. But at least the illusion of Aries is I'm going to do this thing. This is why people, they go on the jungle visits, they go on tours in Africa, they go on fishing expeditions. These things are very Aryan. They go mountain climbing because they're challenging themselves. And depending on their chart, they're enamored with themselves. And that's what you should do. Go ahead and do it. Don't hold back. Yes, be as selfless as you can in terms of including others. But don't be shy about going on your individual journey. Now, how many people know Aries people in their life that sound like this? You know some Aries people that have this essence? And when you talk about their essence, Aries people have this very joyful, childlike essence. It's just very childlike. And when you're with them, I don't care how old they are. I had a best friend who was 92. I wrote about it in the book. It was in Aries. And it was just like blowing stuff up. Eric, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. Oh, gosh, Eric is just so...
My brother is in Aries. That's all he ever talks about is how fast something went, or how he blew something up, or he's going to blow something up.
That's very much Arian. Yes, thank you very much. It's not that they want to blow it up. It's God wants to experience himself, and the only way he can experience himself is to be separate from God, which is impossible, but at least he achieves it. I don't want to get into the esotericism of this tonight, but that's what Aries need to do. You'll understand more about Aries when you get through more signs, as that says in the book. Now, Taurus comes along, and each sign is an output, a transformation of the sign before it. The soul cannot continue doing this Aries stuff because now it realizes that it needs to be grounded. So that's what Tauruses do. So Tauruses should be grounding themselves. What does that mean? This is something that gave me a lot of fits thinking about it, because the more I wrote about it, the more that's just what it is. Taurus is all about grounding. It's what it is. That's why when you're with Tauruses, they're almost always some of the most pleasant people you ever met. They make you feel really at home. They make sure you got a pillow and you got a drink, you got a sandwich, you're nice at home and everything's comfortable. Then they usually go on their way. But Taurus is about getting my chair, getting my property, getting my yard, getting my stuff, getting my family locked down. You know what it's like in life when you get too scattered, and sometimes you get too scattered, it's too thin and too frayed that you need to kind of calm down, get back to the homestead. That homesteading influence is a Taurus thing, which we have with John and which we have with Erica. Taurus is a very steadying influence. It's very strong. It's the number one energy in politicians. How about that? The number one energy in politicians is Taurus. And that's because you got to put up with so much crap and you can't knock them off the hill. You're going to take so much stuff as a politician, you got to be tough and not get knocked off. Well, I don't know about you, but I ain't playing King in the Mountain with Erica or with John. I'm not going to do it because they're going to beat me. So Taurus is, if people want you to go do this, go do this. You don't want to, don't do it. If you want to go at your own speed, go at your own speed. So I'm really pushing each sun sign tonight to be yourself. And you got to watch all these signs, because if you listen to the sign too much, you become distorted. So you got to watch that you follow the essence of the sign, but not too much, because the problem with Taurus is they can become too statuesque, not moving, too locked in. Think about Archie Bunker in his chair. Now you know the negative side of Taurus. Okay, well, that was his nature. The negative side was he was radically opposing his son-in-law, who was the liberal and the opposite, who wanted to raise hell with the world, and Archie wanted everything to go big meathead. That's right, and everybody wanted to go back to old ways, etc. So each sign has its problem, but your essence that urges you towards locking down is an essence that's very valid, and it's very strong archetype. That's why if I were in a group situation or an office or an organization with Erica or with John, they would be the forces that want to lock down things, to establish the office, to establish the headquarters, to establish the standards, because everything's got to stand on something. So that's what you should be urged to. And I don't have the time to argue everybody's case, because everybody's different. And at 9 o'clock, I am going to read for Shelley, our invitee tonight. Gemini's next. Okay. Well, you can see that when things get so slowed down, so locked down, that the soul can get very old and bored. So the Gemini comes out, and the Gemini is just like this butterfly that wants to run around. It's a very young soul. It's only the third stage. Geminis need to get up and move. I have so many Geminis I work with, read for, or people with a lot of Gemini in their chart. And what happens to them is, for whatever reason, through caution or worrying about money or worrying about health, whatever it is, they kill the Gemini in themselves. At the end of the reading, I got to tickle them to get up and fly. Go ahead and fly. Go ahead and shop. Go investigate this magazine. Go watch this ball game. Go try this. Go try that. That's what Gemini's about. We don't know this, but if you watch them, Gemini's learning by all their short little visits places. They're really putting things together in a myriad of escaping types of ways. They're similar to what Aquarius does, but Aquarius does it more directly. So if you're a Gemini, people tell you to settle down, tell them to take a hike. I don't want to settle down. Go try this, go do it. Yeah, you're going to change the subject. Yeah, you're gonna be the worst person in the world to tell a secret to, because you're going to have to tell everybody. You got to go see this stuff. Go tell everybody. Go do it. Okay, just go do it. You need to activate and honor your sun sign. Now, it's got built-in problems because the Gemini gets scattered too thin. It gets too superficial. There are built-in problems with all of them, but the Gemini needs to go out and explore and try these things, because it develops the sun I'm really having a rough time because so many people are sending me messages, and I just can barely deal with it. Now, okay, so your object is to discover the mind by looking around, discovering language, by telling everybody about it. So don't pick a job where it's everything. Don't pick a job where it's 9 to 5 every day in the same place. You got to honor the butterfly in you. It's natural for the butterfly to look around, fly around, and then land on different things. Okay, up comes Cancer. Every sign is so different. Signs do not like the signs before them in general. They don't get along well with the sign before them because they're an outgrowth of it. Cancer is, I don't want to fly around anymore. I don't want to explore anymore. I want to come home. That's why they're all married to Tauruses. Okay, I want to come home where it's safe and lock the doors and get my cushions out and turn the fire on. Got my cats and my dogs, and I'm safe and I'm secure in this little bubble. Because Cancer is the first sign in general that experiences emotions. And the first 3 signs can have emotions, but it's not their bailiwick. It's not their strength. So Cancer needs to be at home, stay at home. They can go out and explore if they want, if the rest of the chart is involved like that. But the main thing about a Cancer is they want to feel good. They want to feel safe. They want to make sure I'm okay. And you need to do things to make sure you're okay. Because there's one sign of the zodiac that has to do that, and that's the sign of Cancer. Not me and you, but I got to make sure I'm okay. Now, that's the essence of it. Now, you can see where the built-in problem comes because closed systems always fail. A system has to be open at some time. It has to breathe. The windows have to be open in the springtime. Get some fresh air in there. Okay, so that's the built-in problem with Cancer. But one of the problems with Cancer is people are always telling you, quit being so moody. And you need to tell them, yeah, I'm going to be moody because I'm moody because I'm moody. I'm moody because I'm exploring. Look at Shelley up there going, Shelley's a Cancer. They're moody because they're exploring different feelings. There's nothing wrong with you. You see, when you really study the 12 signs, they're really unbelievably different from each other. It's an unbelievable study. I'm not BSing you. This is a really valuable book. This is really valuable if you want to understand how the zodiac fits together. Sign next to sign next to sign. Now, so Cancer is what you need to do is find love, form it in the family, give the love to the family, watch things grow, protect things, take care of yourself. And if people get on your back about being moody, just tell them, ask them, do you have any feelings? Okay, because what's the first thing a Cancer asks you? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Hey, how you feeling? Hey, how's that feel? Feel. That's what they do. Okay. And of course, it can get lost in floods of self-pity and all of them. I'm not going to talk about the negative stuff tonight on these signs. But you got to make sure you feel okay. And if you don't feel okay, you got to make sure you change your life. See, I keep saying make sure because I'm a Capricorn. That's what we do. We make sure. If you're not feeling okay, you got to change things so you do feel okay. Okay? Leo comes next. And this is a really critical turn here. Okay. Underneath every Leo, about 1/1000th of a centimeter beneath their skin, beneath the skin of every Leo is a Cancer. Okay, and I've done a lot of research on this. A Cancer is just 1 centimeter below their skin. And what that means is Cancers are typically very, very sensitive, first sign it feels anything. And the Leo is like the teenager. He wants to show you that he's growing up and he really isn't that sensitive anymore and things don't really bother him. And the Leo's favorite word, without a doubt, is a 4-letter word, starts with F. And it's the word fine. I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, hey, I'm fine. I had a brother, God love him, who had 5 planets in Leo. He was a Pisces. He had 5 planets in Leo. No matter what I asked, he was fine. It means we never had a conversation because I was always talking to somebody who was fine. That was just his thing. That's a whole new story about Leo. Leo's a very complex sign. So what Leo does is Leo needs to test itself and get applause so that it can become sure of itself. Just like a teenager goes out, hey, I'm pretty cocky. Come on in, Buzz. I'm going to drive a car. I got a driver's license. Okay, get in the car. And he's proving to himself and to his buddies that he really can grow up. It's a sign of a teenager. And that's what's happening. It's understandable. So what you really get down to, what's going on in the Leo stage, is it's the stage where you become more confident. So the problem with Leo is the Leo puts out its self-expression, and Leos are obsessed with expressing themselves. It's ruled by the sun. The sun's going to shine. But when the sun gets its praise, which it's looking for, it needs to learn from it and accept it and start to say, hey, I'm really getting better. I'm really doing okay. So it's constantly expressing itself, looking for attention, looking for an okay and approval. But eventually what has to happen with the Leo is the Leo has to, Erica, I need you to stop putting these messages up, okay? Thank you much. It's just distracting. I've tried to say that. It just is. I lose my train of thought. Thank you. Okay. Now, with Leos, the problem is, am I going to be addicted to the next applause, the next applause, next applause, next applause? Is there never enough? When am I going to be filled of it? Or am I going to learn from it? Or am I going to become addicted to it? So that's why Leo can be a dangerous stage. It can be a really dangerous stage because what ends up happening, in my opinion, it's the most dangerous stage of all because they end up being addicted to a false self. This is what happened with Trump. This is what happened with Trump. You agree with my world or else you're an ingrate. You agree with my world or you're an ingrate. I'll put an X through you no matter who you are. And it all becomes, you're just out there as my audience. Well, the healthy Leo is expressing itself, and through time, they learn to validate themselves. And they get later in life and they can validate themselves, and they don't need validation from the other. This is what's happening. Every sign has a job to do. Every sign is tough. It's not easy. Every sign has a negative side. You got to watch out. So what happens in the critical stage of Virgo, which is next? The buck stops there. And this book is very based on the first half of the zodiac and the second half of the zodiac. And she and I had to be very careful when writing it that we didn't call one half selfish and the other one not selfish. We called the first half self-oriented and the second half other-oriented. And it's really true. The first half, the first 6 signs, Aries through Virgo, are about learning by experimenting with myself. The second half is learning by experimenting with me plus you. It's very, very true. So what the Virgo's about is Virgo can sense that the next stage is coming. It's a critical stage because we're crossing into the second half of the zodiac. Virgo is the 6th, the final sign of the first 6. And Virgo is got this sense, I got to have my hair in order. I got to watch what I say. Everything's got to be just right. I got to have my clothes pressed. I got to be nice and clean, show up for work, not create any problems, do my work, etc. And I want to be known for my work. So Virgos are very much known for their work. They have a tremendous sense of gotta be productive. This is their weak spot. It's also their strength. What do Virgos do? They fix. What do they fix? They fix everything that's wrong. Well, that means that how much are you looking for something that's wrong? So there's the problem with Virgo. If you're always finding something wrong with something. Okay? So Virgos, your job is to care about what you're doing. Get to work. Be the perfectionist that you are. Do your work. But the problem with Virgo is you can't see your emotions as a weakness. And this is the problem that Virgos end up with. Well, I put food on the table. I put clothes on your back. You got a house to live in, and now you want emotional support too? Okay. So Virgos can have a very difficult time with emotions because emotions are sloppy things. They're not controllable. And you gotta watch out for this tendency. Virgos need to allow themselves to be, to feel things, etc. So keep up your work. You're always very good at what you do. Everybody's always going to see you as the best at what you do. There's no doubt about that. But allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to have some fun. Allow yourself to take a swim, whatever. And don't see it as you're goofing around. That's the problem the Virgo gets into. Because if you get into that, then everybody around you, you're going to see them as goofing around. And you end up having a lonely existence. Do what you got to do. Get your work done. But quit kidding yourself that everything in life is based upon how well you do your work. It's a cop-out. Yeah, it's important that you do your work well, etc., etc. But it's even more important that you have a loving, flowing soul in the midst of it. And most Virgos are really, really nice people. But especially the Virgo men have a tough time with emotions. They just have a tough time. And you got to just find a way to get through to them and feel what you feel and be okay about it. But it's not natural. That's one of the toughest things in the zodiac is learning to do the opposite thing that your sun sign represents. What's opposite Virgo? Pisces. The sign that just wants to love everybody. So in one way, and this is very true, in one way, your success in life is dependent on your ability to manifest the sign opposite you. If you're an Aries, do the Libra thing, which is me plus you is us. It's not just me, it's us. If you're a Taurus, it's just not me and my stuff. Now it's Scorpio, us and our stuff. Are you Gemini? Just my mind and my exploration? You got to activate your Sagittarius, us and our belief systems, our politics, our thoughts. Cancer, just me and my safety and my home. Capricorn, opposite, us and our collective work together. Leo, is it me on stage by myself or is it us on stage as a group? You see? Virgo, me and my perfectionism, or is it the Pisces opposition, which is us and no judgment? So the book has a chapter on the 6 polarities. So Virgo is very important because it paves the way for Libra, which is next. It paves the way and it does a really good job, but sometimes it just puts too much emphasis on its workability. Okay? And not everything's just that. Okay, you're really good workers, probably the best in the zodiac. Now, the next stage that you jump to is critical because you're jumping from the first 6 to the last 6 when you go from Virgo into Libra. And what do Libras need to do? Libras need to be charming and be social entities and get themselves socially accepted. They're very social beings. They're very aware of how does everybody else think. They're very savvy. They're very street smart. They're winners. They're really acutely involved with discussions with people. They love having good discussions with people. But the problem comes in with Libra. The reason they get indecisive, and they're known for their indecision, they're not made to make decisions. They're just not made to do it. But they can get better at it as time goes on. And Libras are a lot better at making decisions than they think they are. Libras are a lot more confident than they think they are. So it just takes some time through midlife where Libras usually get more sure of themselves. Because the first half of their life is obsessed with who's my partner. So Libra is the first sign of the last 6. So it's the sign is obsessed with partnering. I mean, look at how John Lennon was so attached to Paul McCartney, Lennon being the Libra, but at the same time, he didn't even like the guy. He was so attached to the partnership. So it's about partnering. It's really important. And that's the great thing that happens in the sign of Libra. We start to see me plus you. How do I partner with you? Okay, and that's really what you need to do. You need to talk with people. You need to banter. You need to exchange ideas and thoughts with other people. You need to socialize, etc., etc., etc. But where you got to stop, this is all explained in the book, where you got to stop is you got to, how big of a price are you going to pay to be socially accepted? You got to draw a line somewhere and say, no, I don't want to lose myself in your rules. And that's the problem with Libras. They lose themselves because they overcompromise. I was talking to Peggy today, Peggy. I can't keep all these names straight. I was talking today with a lady about becoming overly dedicated and you get lost in it. So Libras they're really a winner sign. They almost always win. They just got a winning personality. Not to say that they don't suffer, but the problem with Libras is they get too involved with another. And when you're too involved with another, the other one's got the chips. You're not in control of your life anymore. The other person is. And that's what the Libra has to stop. And that's what Aries is all about. The sign opposite. It's all about the self. Libra's about the self plus another. Well, good luck. And Libras are wonderful partners. And they're very tactful. And they almost always work in teamwork. But as you talked to me last week, a couple weeks ago, Linda, Libra, you had to get through that stage in your life where you had to stop looking to your partner for this and that. And you got to a critical stage where you put the partner thing with an X through it and you started to think about more about you. That's a very natural evolution for a Libra person. So Libras are about partnering, but not selling out. Partnering, but I draw a line. I draw a line. So go partner all you want. But don't sell yourself out to keep the partnership alive. That's the problem with it. We move into Scorpio now. Okay, Scorpio is a real higher octave of Libra. It's a real intense relationship now that Libra got started. Scorpio's opposite Taurus. Taurus is my stuff, me. Scorpio is our stuff, us. So Scorpio, I was dealing with the lady today, doing the reading. And she was so dedicated to her job and her career. And she just, it was so clear that from the get-go that she was over-dedicated, overly concerned about the other. And she needed to stop and come back and start to be herself. So even if you're a Scorpio, you need to go out and look for passion and go out and look for passionate things and try to fuse with other people. It is the urge to merge. You need it, but you can't get obsessed with it. That's the problem with Scorpio. If your relationship gets a little dent in it, you can't lose your mind. That's the Scorpio problem. You can't become so close to it that you don't have an identity. Okay? You got to let the Scorpio partner be what they are. I'll be what I am. You got to be able to breathe on your own. And if you're too close and you're too wrapped up in all your needs, you smother each other. And then life just won't allow it. So what do Scorpios need to do? They need to be the strong self that they are. They got pure passion. Go and follow them. And people around you think, oh my God, how can they do it? Well, they can do it because it's hot in their kitchen and that's how they live. And if you don't like it in their kitchen, you go out to the nice cool pool or something. But that's how they are. That's how they are. But you got to watch your fire, Scorpios. You got to watch it that the fire doesn't get so hot that you just get ridiculous about it. And the thing that really happens with Libra, Scorpio, and especially if you know people that have a lot of Libra and Scorpio, they get obsessed with their relationship. And something goes wrong with their little tiny thing goes wrong in the relationship and they just go south. So Libra, Scorpio especially, you want to relate, you want to build relationships, but you got to really draw your line. Am I getting lost in it? Am I getting lost in it? Scorpio's case, am I overly dedicated? Because what happens when you're overly dedicated, you just won't face any betrayal. You will never betray yourself. You will not allow somebody else to betray you, and other people can't do it. They don't have the stick-to-itness like you do, and you can't use that level of expectation on them. You just can't do it because other people can't handle it, and that way you won't end up being alone. So Scorpios are very passionate, very strong, very courageous, wonderfully strong people, emotional. But the number one thing you have to look out for, without a doubt, is you got to look out for self-hatred. You got to watch out for self-judgment, being too hard on yourself, expecting yourself to do the impossible. You got to watch out for, because if that gets hold, there's nothing you can do. Because you're just going to be in this circuitry of self-hatred that's going to spread to other people, and you're living an impossible life. So all these signs are not easy, all of them. So you get out of the hot kitchen and you transcend into the next sign, the 9th sign of Sagittarius. And what, I hate to say this, but what the Sagittarius need to do, they need to go have fun. They need to just go have fun. Susan up in Cleveland, she's smiling and writing that down. Go have fun. She's going to make a big piece of art with the word fun on it. And if it ain't fun, I'm not doing it. And that's what Sagittarius need to do. And I had to come to terms with this because I'm the next sign, Capricorn, and I get to clean up the mess of the Sagittarius while they're having fun. And that's just the way the zodiac is. She's got her fun picture up with her. Okay, but the point is this. You can't this is the lesson for Sag. You can't have fun all the time. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. And I've had a lot of Sagittarius come to me, or people bring their Sag children to me, and they can't get the Sag person to start becoming responsible, et cetera, et cetera. It's not in their nature. It's not their nature. Their nature is to have fun and travel and talk to people and have fun. If it ain't fun, I'm not doing it. Well, good luck. Because some things in life you just have to do, and it ain't that much fun. And so it all depends on what they have in their chart. Do they have other Saturnian influences, other Capricorn influences, etc.? But you guys, you Sagittarius, got to have a lot of fun. And you got to quit talking to other people into following your lame brain ideas. Like, hey, I'm going to invest 20,000 in this and I'm going to make a fortune. Come on, give me your money. Quit doing that, because Sagittarius have a natural way of give me that 7 and they roll a 7. Other signs can't do it. And other signs lose their money. So you got to kind of watch out for it. Okay. But the thing is, it's almost true that you can have fun at all times, but it ain't completely true. And it will burn you, and it will burn you real good if you expect to have fun at all times. So go have fun, go explore, have big ideas, go do things. Be a little more cautious when you're reaching into your savings to bet everything on this horse or whatever. Be more cautious than that because it doesn't always work. Okay, we're going to time ourselves so Shelley can be on, have her chart read at 9 o'clock. The last three signs, they're the sign of society and beyond. It's Capricorn, number 10, top of the zodiac, opposite Cancer. Capricorn's the father of the zodiac, Cancer's the mother. Capricorn, you're obsessed with one thing, and there's no doubt about it. Capricorn is obsessed with making sure. They want to control things, so everything is always going to work, and they want to make sure it always works. Well, you can't do it because life moves, and you can't make life stop. Therefore, you can't paint inside of you can't paint with the crayon inside the line at all times. It won't happen. You're going to go outside, oops, and it's got to be okay. Instead of losing your mind because you went outside. Because what Capricorns err at is they think that if they follow the rules, they're going to be okay. You ever read a rule book that's that way? That's why there's two signs after you. The next sign is the most unpredictable one there is. So Capricorns, play it safe. Capricorns in general, I have found, do a real number on themselves. I think it's a very tough sign. It gets a lot of crap from other signs, the reputations that it has. It's unfair, it's unfortunate, it's a very moving, feeling sign. It's a very reverent sign. But Capricorns, like my father, God bless him, my father had no idea he could do what he wanted to do. None. Came from the old country. Anything you asked him, he'd say, how you supposed to do that? How you want your sandwich? How it's supposed to be? What would you like to eat? How were you supposed to eat? He just was so duty and honor bound. What's the word? Capricorns are about duty and responsibility. Well, not everything's always your duty or responsibility. You are the 10th sign out of 12. So go have some fun. Go outside the lines. Quit being so careful, because what happens is the Capricorns end up not trusting. And when you start not trusting, you doom yourself. Because you got to trust life. You got to trust the flow of life, not the rigidity, not the structure, but the flow of it. And that's not easy for Capricorn. It's just not easy. Okay? And making sure all the time is your strength. And people are going to give you all the hard projects, and they're going to give you the big projects because they know you'll get it done. And you're going to make sure it gets done. But sometimes you got to become undependable. Don't count on me on this one. No, I'm not doing it. No, I'm not doing it. No, quit counting on me. No, clean up your own mess. Right, Marcia? Sometimes you got to. Sometimes you just have to respect yourself. Because these signs are tough. It's tough being these signs. So what happens in Aquarius, the next sign, the 11th sign, is that the Aquarius abhors what happened in Capricorn. Because the Capricorn stage lost its individuality by complying all the time. And the Aquarius said, I'm not complying with nothing. And that's why you got the rebel, the rebellious sign of Aquarius. And what you Aquarians need to do is go be free. Go be free. You don't need this, you don't need that, don't need this, don't need here, go do your thing. And usually Aquarians are out there doing it. You don't even know they're doing it. We're so oblivious to what Aquarians are doing. They're so taken for granted. They're so advanced of a sign. I'm coming back next lifetime. I'm going to be number 11. I'm going to be Aquarian. I'm not going to be a Sagittarius like people think. I want to be Aquarian. It's not easy. They got their issues too, but they're just self-reliant. They're self-reliant. They do their thing. They're really, really excellent friends, having fun, just exploring any old thing. Just explore whatever you want and get into it. And I don't have to tell them nothing because they're already doing it. So the final sign, the Pisces one, is really tough. And you saw last week, and it ain't easy. You saw a perfect Pisces last week. You saw why I wrote this book. I wrote this book for Pisces. This book was called originally Pisces, the Ultimate Sign. Well, you saw one, and you saw how hard it is to be. You saw it in Deneen Joyner. She's got the love going. She's got the spirit going. She's selfless. She's not thinking about herself. She's not spaced out. She's not an alcoholic, but she went through her moves. And this woman, when I sat down with my soul reading yesterday, I just sat there, yes, ma'am, because she's just telling you like it is from the soul level. It's a very distant, far sign because there's no boundaries to her. But when you reach in and there's no boundaries, it's kind of closely akin to being spaced out. But here we have a woman who's really broad and big thinker, but she's also down to earth. She's also delivering it to you clearly. She ain't BSing you. She's a rarity. This book is about the soul going all through the 12th stage to become a Deneen. It doesn't mean she's perfect, but she's really clicking on all 12 cylinders. She's not hung up on any of them. She's not hung up on herself. She's beautiful. She's not hung up on that. She's just really got things tuned right. And if you look inside of Deneen, you'll see all 12 signs. I'm sorry, Deneen. Yeah, Deneen. Deneen's her name. Deneen. Deneen. Yes. Okay. Now, I have no doubt in my mind it's the hardest sign to be. It's really hard because the other 11 signs have emphasis inside themselves to be an ego, to be strong, to become more of an ego, to become more of something, to strengthen yourself. And the Pisces have the opposite. Become less of myself, become unselfish, to become living for the other, living for the broader picture. And a lot of Pisces get it real messed up. They really can't handle it. And Pisces people should be born and sent to class. They should be sent to Pisces class because the rules of how Pisces works is totally different than the other 11. Yes, think of others, but also think of you. The woman I had today, she had Sun, Neptune, same degree. Same degree. Well, you may as well be a Pisces when your sun's next to Neptune, the ruler of Pisces. So I had to talk a lot there about be yourself, continue to be selfless. She worked in a hospital. Continue to be selfless, but live for yourself. Be selfless, but live for you. Do both. Do both. Start to live for yourself, but don't call it selfish. Start to live for yourself, but don't call it greedy. She was doing it. She was being victorious. So what did she do? She got in her 60s, Neptune in it, and guess what she did? She went out and bought a boat. I said, I don't know, but I really feel when that boat decision came to you, if you had said no and shoved that down, you probably would have had a nasty car wreck that night. Because the self can only take so much of being shoved down. Well, she let the self come out. So she was a case that I talk about a lot in the book. Be a Pisces, be selfless, but you got to have a self at the same time. It's a balancing act. So she really understood, and it was really an excellent reading, and I really, really enjoyed it. Hey, I'll tell you what, everybody's, I hope this is all sinking in with you. Now, I want to say thank you and turn on the microphone for Miss Shelley here. I'm asking her to unmute herself. I've asked Shelley, did you have a question, Barbara? No, okay. I have asked people that if they wanted to have a reading, to send me their name and their information, which Shelley did, and I give them all a number. I've stopped doing it, but I'm going to honor that. We got 10 people that got numbered 1 through 10, and we're going to finish with the next 8 because I've already done 2. I've since stopped offering that because it just becomes too difficult to let them know what night they're going to be on. So I'm going to do Shelley tonight. I got lucky. I got to her before the show. Irene. Yeah, Irene was the one I was talking about just now about the, Irene K at the bottom of the screen. Just doing so well with the Pisces energy. And she's not even a Pisces sun sign. Okay. Now remember something before I get to Shelley. You can be a lot like another sign by your planetary placement. For instance, I'm a Capricorn, but I'm very Aquarian-like because my sun is opposite Uranus. My sun, my main planet, is opposite Uranus very powerfully. And Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So I'm a Capricorn with a lot of Aquarius in me just because of the planet placement. So you don't have to have planets in Aquarius. I have no planets in Aquarius. But I pick up Aquarian energy because that powerful Uranus feeds right into my main planet, my sun. So that's why you have to have an astrologer do your chart. Welcome aboard, Miss Shelley.
Thank you.
I can hear you fine, and let's get to your chart. And Shelley was so excited because she's talking to me like, oh boy, we're gonna do my chart. And I said, yes, we are. And I'm gonna tell you a couple of things first. First of all, if you think I chose to do her chart tonight, you just got it wrong. I don't choose anything. It just happens, right? It just happens. Barbara, thank you. Good night. I'll see you next time. Okay, for you guys listening on not Facebook, YouTube, if you want to join us live any Thursday night, 8 Eastern, just go to Google, put in Astrology Unplugged, and it'll give you the link, and you can join us for free any Thursday night, as long as it's less than 100 people. And go, Barbara, I told him last week, go back 1 year, Barbara, go back in time 1 year and put all your money on Zoom. Jesus, can you believe we missed that? I saw the report come out. Zoom's like up here and Skype is like way down here. These other ones lost it. You know you lost it when your competitor's name becomes a verb. Oh, I'll Zoom you. Oh my God. Right, Claudia? Huh? I got to get Claudia to wake up. Okay, Shelley. Let's see what Shelley's in store for. Now, I'm going to tell you another thing. Watch this. Watch how this works. I talked to Shelley a little bit about her chart, and she's a Cancer, and I talked to her about how powerful her moon Saturn was. She had a moon next to Saturn, and it was very clear to me, and I've not looked at the chart, except for weeks ago. And I told her that's the dynamic strength of this chart. Now, what I'm going to tell you now is so amazing to see how this works. That moon Saturn is not only the problem of her chart, it's also the strength. It's both. Don't think in black and white terms. It's both. But I'll guarantee you tonight, through one of the charts we're going to look at, that moon Saturn is going to get a crowbar on it. That moon Saturn is going to start to break loose. Because this is not just a happenstance that she gets put into the position to be read for, but also it's the timing is right for us to deal with destructuring that moon Saturn, taking those handcuffs off. All right, let's watch and see. All right, in her chart, I'll get a drink here while you perceive the chart. There's the moon Saturn I told you about in Scorpio, less than 1 degree. The sun is rising. It's just that morning she's born, Venus had just risen with Mercury, and that morning you could see Mercury and Venus. This is the east in astrology. That's the west. The sun is about to rise another 20 minutes or so. Mars and Uranus and Jupiter are together, 22, 26, three powerful planets all together. Okay. Her moon is in Scorpio next to Saturn. What do we see here? T-square, a major T-square. Chiron is at 4, opposite Jupiter, with a T-square down to Neptune. Neptune is the reason she's here. Cancers don't turn into this show. Cancers are out there making sure that they feel okay. People with strong Neptunes tune into this show because Neptune's about, wow, the boundless studies. So we see a T-square coming down to her Neptune, which means she's very Piscean. She's very loving. We know she's sensitive. She's already a Cancer, and now she's got a strong Neptune. Those are the two most sensitive things in the chart. So she's very, very sensitive. Motherly. You can tell her a story, and she'll never laugh at you. Cancers are very good about not mocking somebody because they can't stand being mocked. They can't stand it. So if you have a Cancer around you, don't make fun of them. Just leave them be. They're very sensitive, beautiful young people. That's what they are. Now, so as I was looking through this chart, it's very important when you're reading a chart, what planets are angular. These are the 4 angles here, the ascendant, the descendant, the midheaven, and the nadir. Is a planet near there? Yeah, the sun is. And Venus is too far away, 10 degrees. So the sun is angular. There's nothing near the midheaven. There's nothing near the descendant. There's nothing near. So we know that she's got a strong sun. When you have a strong sun, thank God we like this, you become solar. You have a lot of sun. And what sign does the sun rule? It rules Leo. So we know that she's got leonine properties because the sun is well placed. And we like that. And why do we like it? Because the Cancer is ruled by the moon. The sun rules Leo. The sun is the conscious mind. The moon is the unconscious mind. And if you have too much Cancer in you, you get your feelings hurt. You can whine about it. You can have to be talked. Come here, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. We love you. See, well, when you got a sun in the chart that's strong, she's not that weak. She's strong enough to hold her head up and get out of her own injuries. See my point? She may not like it, but she does have that sun ability. And Leo is a fixed sign. It's like the beach ball that you push in the water and it comes back up. You push it down, it keeps coming back up. So she's got a nice mixture of the sun and moon. Okay, but where's the moon? The moon's in Scorpio. The moon is very tough in Scorpio. What's next to the moon? Saturn. And that's why I knew instantly that the whole chart's about that moon Saturn. And she said she's had other readings and no astrologers ever pointed that out. And I went like, oh my God. It's just so obvious that the moon Saturn is the issue. All right, moon Saturn means I feel, and moon in Scorpio means I feel very intensely. And the moon in Scorpio is, I love it, I hate it. I love it, I hate it. Okay, it's not Cancer. It's not the Cancer part. The Scorpio part. I love it. I hate it. I need it. I gotta have it. Real intense feelings. But when the moon is next to Saturn, this can be very complex. These are the kind of aspects that try an astrologer. This is what makes or breaks an astrologer, being able to interpret this kind of stuff. What it means is it's somewhere, and I'm not going to tell her what it means. I'm going to have a dialogue with her to figure it out because I don't know. What it means is, Shelley, however you feel, it's wrong. Shelley, I don't care how you feel and how you feel strongly, but it's wrong. Okay, now I'm not going to start blaming her dad or her mom or whatever because I know it's a past life because I got the experience. But she's got somehow inside of herself, whenever she feels something, the moon is critical. It's the ruler of Cancer. It's almost as important as her sun sign. She starts to feel something and she feels it strongly. And then Saturn's always saying, are you sure? But I feel it. But are you sure? But I feel it. Are you sure? I repeat these things to you on purpose. I dramatize these planets' voices on purpose because that's how they act. And that's how you learn. So what does that mean to you growing up? Growing up, we'll keep it to this lifetime so far. What does that mean to you? Remembering that oftentimes in a chart, the moon is the mother. Oftentimes Saturn is the father. It's not always. But what does this mean to you? Whatever you feel, it's wrong. I feel that it's wrong. What does that mean to you, Shelley?
It's right on.
Tell me what that means in your words.
In my words, it's my father,
What sign?
Aries.
Okay. And of course, they're always right, right?
Absolutely.
Always right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All fire signs are always right. Go ahead.
And violently right.
Oh, we don't want that, no.
Violently alcoholic right.
Oh, that's terrible.
And I was very strong. I was the only challenging one. My mother was my child. So I took care of my mother.
What sign?
And she was Libra.
Oh, okay.
And
you had to take care of your mother. Well, you had a hell of a soul contract.
Very much. And I'm still working on that, but I'm coming through it. I think I'm pretty close to the end.
Well, you need a soul reading with Deneen, let me tell you, because she takes it all. She takes it all off. Woo, my God.
I know. That's when I saw her, I knew.
She's a real deal. And let me tell you a couple of things, Shelley. Your mom and dad were just playing a role.
Oh, yes.
This is what I've learned through a long 43 years of reading charts. Yes. They're just playing a role. What is your mom concerned about when she's a Libra? What was she concerned about?
Love, taking care of us.
Huh?
Her whole thing was taking care of her children. Whole.
Now that's very rare for Libras.
But she didn't.
Huh?
But she didn't really do it.
Okay, she didn't because she was busy doing what?
She couldn't do it. She was busy trying to survive.
She was busy trying to socialize. She was busy trying to look good with the right jewelry on. That's what that's what can happen with the Libra archetype. It doesn't mean we have to see your whole chart. Some Libras are wonderful mothers. There's no doubt about it. Don't get upset, Barbara. Relax. Some of them are just wonderful, but the basic problem that we have with Libra mothers is they're not available because they're busy socializing. Okay? Now you're giving me mixed signals that yes and no at the same time.
Well, she was not available. She was lost. She was just a complete, she was lost in her being. There was everybody in her life made her nothing. So she was
well, sure, Neptune could be out of whack. Who knows? Yes. That's very sad. Okay. Yes. So when we talk about your moon Saturn, what you feel is wrong, what does that mean? How did that manifest?
It makes me question everything I think. Everything.
But when you were little and you started to feel something, where did you get the message that it was wrong from? Where'd you get the message from?
My dad.
Okay, what did he say?
He controlled everything I did. He told me You're wrong, you can't do it, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Okay.
Can't.
Now that's just an awful thing to do to a Cancer. Because if anything is true about Cancer in general, Cancers need extra white gloves. They just need extra TLC, just do. Okay. Now you got an Aries personality who's got himself distorted, whatever, and then you got alcohol on top of it. Okay, you got a Libra mother who's obviously got more things going than just Libra because she's bigger than just a Libra. She's bigger. She's more universal than just being a socialite. Okay, so I'm going to get right to the point because we don't have a lot of time. The moon Saturn can be very nasty in Scorpio. Saturn in Scorpio can be very nasty. I mean, it means if you ever been told off where your skin cells just jump off your body, that's somebody with Saturn in Scorpio or Mercury in Scorpio. It can be really, really acidic. Because Scorpio, when they tell you off, they don't want to tell you off. They want to make sure you hurt. They do.
Yep.
Okay. Now, we see that coming out of Shelley, but it ain't Shelley, but it is Shelley. So I'll tell you where we go with this. Because Cancers in our book, Cancers are the 11-year-olds. Cancers are the preteens. They're very young, like Lady Di, that cute little small Lady Di had. That's a Cancer. That's what Cancer is. Okay, so we take her chart. And we wonder what about it. We wonder what about this chart. Basically, everything's pretty cool. It's really no big deal. But we wonder about this Chiron up in Aquarius, which is very worldly, and you really think about other people. You're not a typical Cancer. You're thinking about others and countries and politics, and you're thinking about how's that country doing. You're bigger than a typical Cancer. But the big thing we want to know, and there's your Neptune. There's a T-squared of Neptune. That's the alcoholic father. Okay? But we want to know, what the hell is the moon doing next to Saturn? What is it doing? So we're going to do the 12th harmonic. This is another chart, and this is it right here. The 12th harmonic, for those of you who are new to the program, I use heavily in conjunction with the natal chart. The 12th harmonic chart is accomplished by taking the natal chart, multiplying each position of the planet by 12, and putting it back on the circle. Why 12? Because 12 is the number of Pisces. It's the spiritual chart. This is not a chart about Shelley's last lifetime. This, in my opinion, is a chart of all of her lifetimes in general. Now, number two, when you have Pluto and Neptune at the top of the chart in the 12th harmonic, it means to me, without a doubt, that she's a very advanced soul. These are very powerful planets to answer to. And they're very public. They're in the 10th house. What do you see over here? Saturn and the moon again, right? What do you see over here? A big triangle pointing to it. So we keep seeing Saturn and moon. And when you're born with it like that, in any of the 12 harmonics, it's going to show up together. They're going to stay together in all these different charts. So let's take a moment and let's talk about the positive side of Moon Saturn. Okay? All right. The positive side means that when you feel something, forget it, man. Nobody's going to talk her out of it. Bring in an army with crowbars. You're not going to talk this lady out of how she feels. And what she's learning now is she ain't wrong. She isn't wrong. But in your past lives, somehow, the dogma got to you, the church got to you, whatever it was, I don't know. But the message got to you. Boy, you got to make sure how you feel. Now, the beauty of it is when you feel something, you're sure about it. But the ugliness of it is putting that kind of pressure, putting your moon inside a vice, because the moon doesn't live well inside of a vice. So what we're learning tonight, and the reason we're having this program tonight is not because of what we talked about earlier. The reason we're having this talk tonight is to break through the moon Saturn for her. That's what's happening tonight. So what it's saying is, yes, Shelley, be very glad that you're tough and you got stamina and you can go on and on and on. But by God, let's hire an army of something and get in here and start to soften you up. Okay? And if you're a typical Cancer, which we hope you're not, if you're a typical one, you're going to really spend a lot of time blaming those two. Okay, she shakes her head no. Great sign. Great sign. You see what I'm doing, Irene? Very similar to what we did today. Okay. So we need to take the moon Saturn and start to see it as a strength and start to deconstruct it and quit thinking about how wrong you could be. The problem with the moon Saturn is this, that what you feel could lead to trouble. What you feel could be wrong. Okay, and what this tells me is that your dad was busy telling himself everything he felt was wrong. Your dad was getting the message from his parents, and he laid it on you. Okay, fine, go away. All right, that's all done with. He's playing a role. Now, let's get back to your chart. Remember, the strength of Moon Saturn is I'm really solid emotionally. I mean, I don't know. You put this lady through some crisis, and she's going to be the first one standing. She's going to be the first one standing. Typical Cancer is the first one falling. Not her. She's tough as nails. But what I'm saying to you is we're discovering tonight how tough you are on your own feelings. And that means to us tonight, it's time for us collectively to start dismantling it. Why? Because you're ready. That's how this works. Now, let's take a look further. And it's all, you listen closely, Claudia, because it's all, and John, it's all about the moon Saturn. So what do we see in her past life? Well, she's very dynamic. She's very active out in the public. She's very dedicated to God. She's somewhat radical about it, but she almost lived in a cloister. She almost lived in a convent. Now, what I'm seeing here, it's very possible that you did live in a convent. And I'm not going to wave my finger that they were wrong, but what I'm saying to you is they were wrong for you now. Because what we're learning now, what's happening to this collective I'm telling you about, we started to show about the collective and the anima mundi. What's happening now is we're all starting to free ourselves. The hell with the church, the hell with the philosophy, the hell with the rules. But see, that can be dangerous too, right? Look at the Capitol. But on the good side, we're starting to see that I can liberate myself. The 5 million women, the 5 million women that held hands in India a year ago, 5 million women held hands for 350 miles. One string of women to tell the men, nah, we're not doing it anymore. We're not kissing your butt anymore. We're not walking behind you anymore. It's 9 steps behind you, fixing your meals. We're not doing it. This is what's happening. But the problem is it's happening so fast. And everybody's so busy blaming everybody because they're all scared essless. They're all scared because it's all coming apart so quickly. You think the 60s were a revolution. It's mild compared to what's happening now. So that's what's happening. And you should sleep assured tonight, knowing that that's what's going on. All the rules don't work anymore. Rules for keeping people oppressed don't work anymore. Right, Marsha Bud? You're damn right. They just don't work. Why? Because we don't need them anymore. Why? Because the number one thing we learned about religion recently is the religion has been all about obeying and behaving properly. That's your moon Saturn. God damn it. Make sure you behave, right, Shelley? And what we're realizing, Shelley's fine like she is. She's not going to misbehave, especially if you get off her back. She'll be fine. Susan in Cleveland, go yeah. Say yeah, you're damn right. And that's what Shelley's learning now. You don't need the self-advice. You don't need the self-advice. Because your dad had one, and he was polite enough to give it to you, wasn't he? But you had it way before your dad came in the picture. You had it a long time. So let's go examine your past life. Are you about to cry?
No.
You look
no,
like you are.
no,
And I'm
I
going to
feel
tell
incredible.
you, if you want to cry all you want to. That's
No, it feels incredible.
oh, sure, because the time is right. Now let's go dismantle our moon Saturn. Right, Claudia? Damn right. Okay. Now, look at the natal chart. All right. Look at the natal chart. The moon and Saturn are at the 14th and 15th degree of Scorpio. Where is Uranus? Do you see where Uranus is coming? Hi, John. Uranus is about to oppose these two planets. That's going to be hell on wheels. And she's so sensitive that it's bombarding her now. And Uranus is at 8 degrees. Uranus is at 8, it's 6 degrees from hitting that Saturn. So let me show you with the dual wheel so you'll see what I mean. It's just remarkable to study astrology. Watch this now. Let's put the dynamic bi-wheel together. Okay, and let me get it on your screen. Okay, and now you'll see the beauty of studying astrology. Why is Rick talking as he is tonight? Uranus is at 8, the moon Saturn is at Saturn moon. Moon Saturn is at 14, 15. What does Uranus do? Uranus breaks up tension. What does Uranus do? It liberates so that you can be yourself. What is Uranus going to do to these two planets? What the hell you think it's going to do to these two planets? And she's getting, how much notice is she getting? All right, let's count the months. Months. One, we want to see when Uranus gets to 14. See it here? We're going to go by month and see that Uranus get to 14. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my God, it's already there. Look, it's exact. August. This August. It's exactly 1447, 1447. April, May, June, July, August. You got 5, 6 months till Uranus hits that Saturn. Okay. I told you it was going to be dismantled before the show started. Now, what does this mean? And this is what we talked about today, Irene, in your chart. That part of you, which is used to being wrong and is butchered by being wrong and slapped around by being wrong, no matter what, it's comfortable. It's wrong, it ain't right, but it's comfortable. Well, what's happening now, and this has been going on for 2 years, since Uranus entered Taurus, you're starting to get the seeds from it. You're starting to get the seeds. Damn, I'm tired of this. Damn, I don't want this anymore. Damn, I think I'll create a Rick on TV so we can talk about it and put this emotional bondage be gone. Yes, exactly, Claudia. So what's happening is you're not ready. Just like I read today for Irene. Irene was 10 days. Irene is 10 days. It's sitting in her chart on the 28th day of March. So she got 10 days notice till her constraints come off. And in her chart, it was being so holy and Sun Neptune and being so required to be religious and selfless. In your case, you thought, here's to wrap it up, here's what it is. You thought that to get to heaven, because all charts are maps of getting to heaven as soon as you can. That's what they are. Okay? And they're all the BS you hear about. They're charts not about meeting some stud Friday night at the Holiday Inn. Charts are about going back to God. That's what they're about. Okay, you're given a 6 months notice. Irene was given a 10 days notice today. Different issue. So if this came across too fast and it was hitting you in a month, you would be going, blah, 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 blah. You're not ready. You're not ready for this. It's going to take you 6 months. You may even want to get a private reading to detail it and to understand it better. But what Uranus is, it's an energy inside of you that says, I know what's true, and I'm not living with this moon Saturn anymore. Certainly, I'm not living with its cruelty and its overpressure and its I'm always wrong stuff. And like I said, it becomes comfortable. Well, now the first thing has to happen with you is you got to start becoming uncomfortable with it.
I have.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's excellent. And the next stage is, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to keep, you can't get rid of it. It's a major part of you. And the Saturn's your strength in your chart, really. But you don't have to be, the problem with Moon Saturn is you can never betray anybody. You got to always be true and always be right. And you just got to get that stern voice out of you. No, I don't want to hear that. I'm a sensitive Cancer. I'm a sensitive woman. I want to be treated sensitively. I want sensitive things in my life. I don't want this mean stuff. Look what the mean stuff did to you, Daddy, and your alcohol. That's your issue. But see, you came into this life with this overzealous pressure on you. I don't care where it came from. It just did.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all going through now. We're all going through, nah, I ain't doing that anymore. Nah, I'm not doing that anymore. Nah, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to get a dog. We'll go walk the dog. You see my point?
Yes.
Now tell me how you're feeling now.
I'm feeling incredible. I'm feeling like I could cry. I'm feeling every emotion because it is right on. It's exactly what I've been feeling and I keep laughing. I'm setting things on fire sometime because I'm becoming so, I'm letting go so much to the other extreme.
Well,
that
let me tell you what,
Ooh.
you better do that and let go to the other extreme. Like I told, what's her, she just disappeared.
Irene.
Irene, like I told her today, if she hadn't bought that boat, she got out of a car wreck. She went out and bought this expensive boat and joined a boat club.
And
I
when you
said, go out into the higher river and go in circles. Go do a figure eight. Do what you want to do. But that's what
that
happened.
resonated.
You see, when you release the self, if the self has been contained too tightly, it comes out goofy, like a balloon. If you've been pretty much released already, it's no big deal. But you've been so compressed for so long, one of the things you might want to do, is your dad alive?
No.
Okay, I thought so. One of the things you might want to do is go have a talk with him at the graveyard. That's up to you. Tell him any damn thing you want. You love him, you hate him. Whatever. Just let him go. But you understand that it really wasn't personal. He really wasn't doing it to you. It was inside him. So what's happening to you is, I told you, Shelley was going to have the moon Saturn disabled tonight. I didn't even look. I didn't even know. I just know for sure it's going to, because that's how astrology always works. And it's working well for one reason, everybody. Tell me what it is, John. Why is it work? Why is it working tonight, John? Why is it working for her?
It's time.
Exactly. He's exactly right. It's working because you're ready.
Absolutely.
If you were not ready, you wouldn't have found this show. I would have put somebody in front of you. I would have got the wrong chart on the screen, whatever. But John's exactly right. And what you can feel with this, you can feel collective applause. Because as you release yourself, we all get released. So it's a beautiful thing, and I'm going to wrap things up. I wanted to let you know, this does not mean it's going to be easy. You may need some help, such as Deneen or somebody at clap, 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 says Ray. Whatever. And let me tell you another couple of things about the planets. When you let go, everything starts to work. Your money gets better, your complexion gets better, your house gets better, the kids get better, the job gets better, everything. Because you're so used to being like this. And you were just programmed that way. And as you start to release, it's not going to go like this. It's going to go back and forth. It's going to go back and forth. It's going to take you a little while. And when Uranus comes into your land in about 5-6 months, you're going to know it's there because this is the most sensitive point in the chart. And let me show you one more time. Your most sensitive point is this moon Saturn, and Uranus is going to be exactly opposite that. Okay?
Wow.
And it's going to be hitting Saturn. Who's Saturn? It's your dad. So it's symbolic of you firing the dad inside.
I
And a
got
lot
it.
of times you people watch me get excited and stuff. What's exciting when you notice stuff before it's on the screen, it still shows up on the screen. That's why it's exciting. It's an unbelievable map that's underneath our driver's seat. We don't even know it's there. It's just there. Diana Salade. Good night, this is Diana Salade. Everybody, I think you got the idea. I'm not sure what we're going to do next week, but we're going to do something. I'm thinking about doing something with my partner on the air, but we're trying. Everybody says yeah. But we're trying to get that all wrapped up nice and tight. And if you know Liza Jane, she doesn't do anything unless it's wrapped up nice and tight. And she's got it all lined up just right. She's really good. Everybody, thank you so much. Shelley, thank you for being gracious.
Thank you all, and thank you.
You're
Rick.
certainly welcome, and good luck to you. But I don't think you're going to need it because of time, and I'm real happy for you that you're letting go.
Thank you. Thank you all for holding space. Bless you.
Good night, everybody.
Everybody, good night,
Thank
Shelley.
you.
Good night.
Good
Night,
night. Have a
Claudia.
safe
Good
week,
night,
everybody.
Good night, Erica.
Thank you.